Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
Chocolate coffee. Chocolate Buddy Sweet.
Das war das Beste. Ja, gut.
Rest in peace.
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Deniz, the Buddymeister.
We have reviewed almost 500 indie movies on the channel, and including all of the movies from Lokesh Kanagaraj. Yeah, we have seen them all. I mean, I have seen them all.
I've seen only
you've
two.
You've seen like two?
Yeah, I've seen Managaram and Kaiti.
Yes, and I also saw
And you saw
Master
everything else.
and Vikram. Yeah.
That's it?
That's-
5 movies?
that's
Okay,
it, I
with
think.
Leo? Okay.
Yeah. So, of course, now we're talking about his newest film, which is titled Leo, 2023 Tamil language action thriller. Yeah, like his previous ones, it's a big mass movie, and we were very fortunate because this was screened here in Vienna. And for once, there was a big crowd
Yeah.
at the theater. It was almost maybe half full. I mean, the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
4 rows,
Half.
nobody was there, but behind us, completely packed. And the atmosphere was pretty great, which, made a movie like this definitely better. It's
Yeah.
without giving anything away, it's certainly a movie to watch at the theater. Not so sure how it plays at home, but yeah, it was a great experience. Deniz, cast and story, that's your turn.
The movie starring Thalapathy Vijay, Trisha, Sanjay Dutt, and Arjun Sarja in the leading roles. Music was done by Anirudh
Anirudh.
Ravichandra. And I guess another thing to mention is the cinematography by Manoj Paramahamsa, because it stands out, but we'll talk about that. What is Leo about? So, when Parthiban, a mild-mannered cafe owner in Kashmir, fends off a gang of murderous thugs, he gains attention not only from the police, but from a drug cartel who claims he was once part of them.
You wrote that yourself, or did you?
It's a mix of the IMDb synopsis, and I changed some sentences up because the synopsis on IMDb is worse than mine.
Okay. Yeah, that happens quite often on IMDb. So before I want to know your opinion, we saw it together, but I have an idea what Deniz thinks about the movie. But I mean, we have both slept the night over it, so maybe that has changed, and I don't know your full opinion. Before we share that with you, let's say also very important, this movie was inspired by a history of violence. It's not a remake, but it's heavily influenced.
Yeah.
At the beginning, there's even a little title card, and I think it says something like it's a tribute.
Yeah, it's a quote from Lokesh, who says this just like a history of violence changed cinema, and
I think
he
affected
changed
many
himself,
filmmakers, and he
something
was
like
affected
that.
by it. And I think this is his tribute. And when I did a reaction for the trailer, people said that it's probably a remake or maybe an adaptation of the comic book, because David Cronenberg's History of Violence was also adapted from a comic book. And because of that, I watched History of Violence like 2 weeks ago. I have never seen it before. You have seen
I've seen it, but
10 years ago.
It's some time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I still remember some things because it left quite a mark on me. But yeah, it's been some time. Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic movie. I mean, History of Violence by David Cronenberg. And Leo, Lokesh Kanagaraj's movie, is a very different take on the kind of same story. And I think it's very interesting how it's almost the opposite in many regards when it comes to tone and overall message. And it's interesting. It's maybe also a little bit bizarre, but I appreciate it. I mean, this is more like the original. The first adaptation is like a examination of violence. What does it do to people? How are all the characters affected by it? How does it run through society? How does it shape your future? And how it haunts the main character played by Viggo Mortensen. And it's a really dark movie, really kind of sophisticated, also very tight, just like 90 minutes or 100 minutes. And I would still say the action in the history of violence is fun, but at the same time, it also is very disturbing, and it shows you the dark side of violence. Now, Leo is very much like an action movie from the 80s or 90s. It celebrates violence.
Leo celebrates.
It celebrates action.
Stylish celebration.
Stylish celebration.
Yeah.
And therefore, I said it's like the opposite of history of violence. But I never, I appreciate a good action movie.
Yeah.
So once I realized from the trailer, this will be something different, I kind of, I knew what was coming. And Buddymeister, was this bloody sweet for you?
Well, it was fun. It was all right. To be honest, it was better than I expected. It's a decent action movie. It has like the same issues that many of these mass movies have for me.
Yeah.
But all in all, I had a very good time with this movie, and I think it definitely, like, comparing it to the last mass movie I saw was Javan.
Yeah.
Or comparing it even to some other mass movies that I've seen the last few months or so. This had definitely some stuff that will linger in my mind for a longer time. Be it the style, be it like the appearances of the characters and all things like that. There is something in there that I won't forget that fast, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So this was a decent movie.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much on the same page. It was an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
I think it kind of not fizzles out, but the second half gets to a point where it's kind of exhausting.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know, it all falls a little bit apart with the dramaturgy and the character work. But I have a lot of notes here on my notepad, things I really liked about the movie.
Okay.
So pretty much chronologically, I think the setting is pretty cool and fresh because it is set in northern India.
Yeah, I love the setting. It's set in Teok, I think is the name. It's somewhere in the Himalaya.
Yeah.
Very, very far north of India. Great setting. I loved it, the location.
Yeah.
And it's not like we've never seen it before, but for an action movie, it's like really, really...
And for a South Indian action movie. And it's not just a fresh location and really cool, but it also fits the story because it's about a character who's kind of out of place because, he's from the South, he lives in the North, and he's not or maybe he's not what he appears to be.
Yeah.
And it's just it gives you a different vibe than what you normally get from South Indian movies, just through the setting alone. And also the house they live in, I think it's one of the most coziest places I have seen in a long time.
It's really nice.
In the cinema, also, the whole beginning with the hyena was fun. It's also a bit silly. It's also a bit over the top.
Yeah.
But it was also something different and fun. And again, it's also fitting because it's very much this wild animal that runs amok. And of course, that's also kind of our central character, Vijay's party bun, who gets to a point where he gets really violent.
And it's kind of established that he's like a animal rescuer, forest ranger guy. I don't know.
And he's an animal rescuer.
He has a cafe / bakery, and he rescues animals. Yeah. But I even thought that the hyena looked quite nice.
Yeah. Sometimes the movement was a bit too slow.
Yeah,
but overall, in the close-ups even looked pretty.
It worked,
pretty good.
And everything with the hyena running around and looked pretty nice.
Yeah. Now, Vijay himself, I think, is also pretty decent, pretty good in the movie.
Yes, and he's also one of the things that, like, where I said it lingers in my mind. I thought his look that apparently, like, caused some controversy before because, I don't know, people or fans didn't like the look with the hair and maybe the gray in there something. I mean, the guy's 49, of course. I am a gray hair. I'm 10 years younger.
Yeah.
So, but I liked his appearance very much. It stood out, and... Yeah, he did a great job. I thought he did for what he had to work with. I thought his character was like one of the better characters in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, there are some very dramatic moments where he really have to give his best. Those scenes were okay. They didn't do that much for me because I think the character work in the movie isn't that strong.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, it's definitely a movie where you can feel that the lead actor shows up. He's there to give his fans, and he has a lot of fans, a good entertainment. He wants to give them a good time, and he shows up. And especially in the action scenes, I thought he was really convincing. I didn't expect it, honestly.
Yeah.
There's also this somewhere around the middle, we get the one big song and dance sequence with the song.
I think it's already in the second. It's already in the second half.
It's after the interval. Yeah. Na Ready.
Yeah.
Of course, we mentioned it, composed by Anirudh, which is this big mass song and dance sequence. And I thought it was pretty awesome, pretty spectacular.
Yeah,
and his dance moves also damn good. And from that, let's go to the music. The music was special. I don't know. It's a wild mix.
Yeah, I mean, we get like very, very, very in the beginning, we get like this slow emotional love song, which like introduces the family.
But even before that, we get this with completely English lyrics. This he's just a normal guy living in town.
It's true. Yeah, but it's a mix between like we get 2 or 3 normal songs, whatever that means, and like the rest, there's very much like this dance and upbeat music that like kicks you in your face all the time. It's too much for me, and it's too like it's all the time, and I really don't like movies where it's like music every scene. The next scene, wow, it's just too much for me, and it's in this movie it's also too much for me. But of course it's driving, it still works. When there's this pumping music, you just can't do anything else. But but it's still too much for me.
Yeah, I get that. For me, it was too much in a few scenes, but not really in the action scenes. More like there's this one dramatic moment in the bedroom where the child is sleeping, where we get a lot of sad music.
Why do we need?
And sometimes it feels like the music is the only thing that holds together a scene like that. It's like the dialogue is not really working that well. The dynamics a bit off right now, but the music is constantly playing like. It must hold every element together, and you can really see the cracks in there. But the music can be very intense, and I think the movie can be very intense. And that's also something that I liked about it. This is really like a South Indian mass movie with a lot of violence. Really a lot of violence. I don't know the rating for this, but it's brutal.
It's brutal. It's gory. I mean, the body count is I don't know it's in the upper hundreds, maybe even higher. I don't know, but it's crazy how many people get killed in this movie. It's crazy, and in very creative ways too, which is nice.
But fitting to that intensity and the violence, the movie certainly has style. Not throughout.
No.
Sometimes it kind of breaks away, and then it's shot like not that well. But there are a lot of very stylish moments in this movie, a lot of cool scenes. And I think my favorite scene definitely is the first big action scene. I mean, apart from the hyena stuff, but when those random goons are showing up at his cafe, and this one crazy guy with the blue eyes, I'm not sure, is that Sandy Master? Do you know?
I don't know. I haven't looked it up.
Okay, maybe that's Sandy Master, but the other guy is Muskeln, and they show up, and that's basically the scene from A History of Violence with Viggo Mortensen when they show up at his cafe. And all of a sudden you see, whoa, this guy knows how to fight and kill. In this movie, we already know from the hyena action. But that action scene is really done really well. We have, and that's also, there's a music choice that's a little bit different, because in that scene we have this old song playing
from like a vinyl player, record player,
And the action is very intense, very violent. And you also see his character breaking, because he kicks their ass, but he doesn't want to kill them. But then, things turn quite turn out for the worst. But it's a great scene.
It's a great scene, a great sequence, and it's like I think maybe the first third of the movie, it keeps this style because there is another action sequence
at the market.
There's not that much time between those two action scenes, and this action scene at the market is also pretty nice, and it's like this first third where the style of Lokesh is like coming out best, like and where you can see like his style, where you can see like his stamp on this movie, because I was very much reminded of Kaiti in those and Managaram in those little moments because of the cinematography, the lighting, the colors, and all this stuff, and like tilting the camera a bit and using it to like bring the action across even more. And the action is really nice in the first half.
In the second half,
there's some good action in the second half too, but there's also some action in the second half that is really not.
This will be until now spoiler-free review. We will get into some spoilers later on, but we will warn you. I also liked how the actual bad guys are introduced, because it's just so over the top. The movie starts really in a kind of a disturbing way. You get very, very disturbing images of these thugs like being in this house and like, what are they doing? And the guy with the contacts, and it's like gruesome. But that's also again not completely lifted, but a history of violence also starts with the random gangsters. But I actually meant the real bad guys like Sanjay Dutt and Arjun Sarja, Anthony and Harold. Exactly, the two Das brothers. They have this big syndicate, this big factory, and they are, of course, gangsters, very evil ones. They produce datura. Some kind of drug. Narcotics. And their introduction, really over the top. We get into the factory, a lot of people getting killed just because they messed up something, I'm not sure. And just the look of Sanjay Dutt, but also Arjun, they look so worn out, so grizzled. It's great. It's even kind of comical in a way, not funny in a way, but like from a comic, because of this. When you get a face, Arjun Sarjai's is like a big scar in his face, and of course Sanjay Dutt's face is scarred by nature, kind of like he looks. It's very much like you can. If you see the poster for this movie, it's like done in this comic style. It's very much like it's like that. Movie, like I said, is a mass movie. There are a lot of mass moments, and I think that's honestly also why I'm looking forward to movies like this, because it's something that we don't really get from any other movie industry. You don't get something like this from Hollywood. So these mass movies, especially South Indian mass movies, it's just something that's for us not super fresh anymore, but it's something different, and that only movie industry like this one in India is delivering. Absolutely. And so we, of course, most of the time know we shouldn't expect the most sophisticated story-driven film, but if the mass moments are executed in a nice way and do something a little bit different, then we're all up there for it. And what I found interesting with this one, certainly not the first movie that's doing something like this, but we don't just get mass scenes for our hero or anti-hero Vijay, but also for all the supporting characters. We watched it yesterday, and the people around us, whenever someone familiar showed up, people were cheering and screaming, and like half of the time we were like, I think we know that guy from somewhere, but we of course don't have the same connection. But it's just like everyone is cast with someone people already know and love, and that's like half of the fun of a movie like this. And movies like this really work in their own kind of universe or dimension. It's not classic storytelling. It's really coming from outside of the movie, like we know that guy, and really, really crazy. What else? One little element for me personally, I appreciated, or I liked, that the movie is showing that superstitions, and this is not really a spoiler, that superstitions can lead to some very devastating stuff. Because the bad guy He's the business owner and he's a gangster, and he's super superstitious, and his astrologer is coming by and tells him what to do. And first he like sacrifices animals, and that's what I said. It's so over the top, it's so comical, but also so fun. And then he has to sacrifice some humans as well. Yeah. And it's not a big thing, but I like if a movie shows like superstitions are not bringing us forward and can be very harmful. Yeah. And of course, it's super exaggerated here and over the top, but still, I watched it and I thought, yeah, nice. That the motivation of the bad guy is it's a good message. Maybe most people don't really pay attention to it, but I thought, that's nice.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned it. The cinematography was, for the most part,
like I said, and we said it at the beginning, it's kind of strange, but this movie really can be almost separated into two different parts. Where I thought the second half, now when I think about it, feels like a different kind of movie for me, because the beginning, like, is very coherent and has like a certain amount of consistency, and somehow this like fizzles out in the second half. And there are some scenes in there. Or some scenes not in there where we thought there's something missing. The editing is kind of baffling at some. It's a bit strange, but it's not like it has this impact on the whole movie. But it's still, you can feel it, that the second half, like the movie falls a little bit apart, because it hasn't like to tell that much, and it knows that it doesn't to tell that much.
Yeah, so I guess we continue with the things that we didn't like that much, or is there anything that stands out positively that you haven't mentioned already?
Well, one thing that stands out, we talked about Thalapathy Vijay, and I told it to you yesterday, but I like that Thalapathy Vijay has just a normal and nice body.
But normal still, he's still trained.
He's 49, but he has the thing is, he has a nice trained muscular body, and it's not like over the top muscular, like
it's not Tiger Shroff.
It's not Tiger Shroff or anything where you think, wait, that can't be real. He's just a normal guy who likes goes to train and shows you, when you're 49 you can look like that too. That's kind of nice.
I mean, he looks normal, but still, of course, he's a mass hero, and
of course,
especially towards the end, I will go into that. But
it's kind of nice that it's not like the focus of this movie, that his appearance without a shirt is like the thing. It's just like it's interesting that his superstardom like works even without being like this guy. And it's nice.
That's true. That's true. Where we're still with the positives, I mean, the cast is pretty good. It's nice to see all those faces. Gautam Vasudev Menon plays his friend, the forest ranger Joshi, and a lot of familiar faces.
But we can also talk about some negatives when we talk about the actors, because
true. Yeah. So let's go to the negatives. You already mentioned it. The second half gets messier, sloppier. Yeah. It's kind of scattershot. How it goes from one scene to the next. How people leave, reappear. It's all a bit messy.
Yeah. There's a big flashback in the second half that like isn't as striking, or wasn't as striking for me as it possibly was intended to be. It's like, it's a nice flashback, but it's like I wasn't in this story that much that I thought, okay.
I thought it's the mass moments work in the flashback, but the flashback comes across as like there's a whole different story there that is not explored at all. We learn just a little bit about these characters, but not enough. And there's one character, female character, who's like barely in it, and something happens to her, and I didn't feel anything, because for a second I thought maybe I should lean over to you and say, like, she will, mild spoiler, she will die and won't say a single sentence in the movie. Luckily, she has a few sentences, but it's not like she's really there in the movie, and I didn't feel much with that. It's just maybe it's also a meta element, because they introduce her like, twist, here's something you didn't and maybe we didn't get the reference, but it was just,
the movie isn't the best when it comes to the female characters, to be honest. I mean, Trisha plays the leading female role, and she's totally wasted, to be honest. I mean, I thought her role wasn't like giving her very much to work with.
No, she's
just there to be the wife who looks sad and puzzled, and like she does a little bit more active work in the second half, but she doesn't really do anything. And but we talk about that later in the spoilers, even when there is the opportunity to do something, because she is given the opportunity, the movie doesn't give her the opportunity to do something, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, and I think it all is connected with basically the main element that didn't work for me that well, and that's just all the dramatic stuff.
Yeah.
Basically the story and the character work falls very flat, and maybe we should enter just mild spoilers. I mean, if you have seen History of Violence, or just when you watched like the first hour of the movie, you know what it's about. And is Vijay really just a normal guy, or is he Parthiban? Yeah, or is he more than meets the eye?
Yeah.
Is he also the guy the bad guys say he is, which is Leo Das? Freaking badass. Is he also Leo Das?
We know from the song already, the song Leo badass Leo. I don't know what it is. But he's a freaking badass.
So that's the main story.
Yeah,
but it's really not enough for almost 3 hours, and it's not really tense. Either when you watch it, either you think yeah, of course he is. Also because maybe you have seen History of Violence, so of course.
Yeah.
Or, and that was my point of view, maybe they will do something different at the end. Maybe they will end it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Who knows? We don't, or do we want to give it away? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe not. I don't know, but the movie tries to make the movie tries to make everything a mystery. Like at the beginning when he's introduced, and we think, oh, who is this guy? And he like says, even the characters in the movie say, who is he? What has he done? And it's like this. But like the rules of the mass movie, like don't allow this movie to really be a mystery. Yeah. They prolong it a little bit in the beginning, a little bit, but it's like they can't sustain it because people who watch a mass movie expect that Thalapathy Vijay kicks some ass in some time, and so we can't like keep this mystery running.
Yeah, but they still do it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Yeah,
the problem is either he is Leo Das or he's some other ass-kicking guy, because he obviously can kick ass, he obviously can kill people.
Yeah.
He is all of that. So either he's Leo Das or he's another I don't know, Superman. So it's really like there's really no big consequence. And
and like you immediately like said to me yesterday after we saw the movie, why I mean, this is a mass movie and we know that, and it's entertaining, but in the movie like nobody is really asking themselves or him why he has those skills. Nobody.
It's not really addressed.
No, it's not addressed. He just has the skills. He can like fire 6 bullets at the exact same spot and kill hundreds of people with moves that nobody has ever seen before. But nobody cares why he can do that.
Yeah, I mean the forest ranger tries to investigate.
Yeah,
and his son, I think, asks him about it, but it's so little. And in History of Violence, that's the main. I don't know where the tension is coming from.
Again, this is not about like what does violence do to a person. It's about celebrating violence. But the violence is fun. So if you are into brutal stuff, brutal action, then it's certainly fun. And I was flinching and like, whoa, what did just happen? Yeah, there are some really creative kills in there, or maybe not even kills. Maybe the people have survived. I don't know that, but there's some stuff in there with like hammers in mouths and like faces pushed against something, and it's really fun. I'm not like we said, the action is fine, but it's about the character now. We were talking about the character, which doesn't work in this way the movie intends, or maybe didn't even try to. I don't know, but
not really. It's like half there.
Yeah, and it also shows like in the dramatic structure of the movie itself, because it's like this sinus wave. It's like we get action, and then we have people thinking, oh, what happened there? Who is this guy? And even Partiban is like brooding and thinking about what happened now. And then we get action.
Yeah.
And then we get people thinking about, oh, what happened now?
Yeah.
And he's brooding again. And then we get action again. And so it's like this thing all the
really
time.
Repetitive
it's
in the
really
second
monotonous
half.
towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, the editing in the second half, there are some bizarre choices there where I was really wondering if something was kind of broken. Like there's the last scene with Sanjay Dutt, and so it's so weird how it ends that I was thinking maybe it was something with the censor board, or maybe something didn't work out.
It seems like there's a scene missing or something.
Yeah, it feels like one or two scenes are missing there. And it was kind of bizarre.
Talking about Sanjay Dutt once more, I have to say that he was fine, but he's not the only like side character that's pretty underwritten still. He has kind of a he has some traits and some like agency that like drive him to be like he is, but it's more about his charm, but it doesn't work like that well, I think. And I didn't expect to ever say it, but I think I even liked his character more in KGF Part 2, because
I've only seen half of KGF.
His villain in KGF Part 2 had like more charisma and more traits. The way he was like, even his appearance, the way he was like portrayed and executed through the movie was like more distinct. And here he's like, this Sanjay Dutt doing his thing, and it's a little bit I don't know. For me it was like he's fine, and Arjun Das is also fine, but none of them is like
Arjun Das is not a real Harold Das,
Arjun Sarja. He's fine, but it's not like there's no remarkable villain in this movie. I said,
I actually like them both just because their looks, but I liked Sanjay more because he was fleshed out more, and then it was kind of disappointing that Arjun, mild spoiler alert, is becoming the main antagonist towards the end, and I didn't really feel much there. It was just a little, it was definitely underwritten, and and the finale of the movie, at that point, the action is getting so repetitive, and it's never ending, but they also don't add anything fresh or new to the table. They don't bring anything new to the table, and it's
to be honest, the action was almost at the point where I thought this is like so perversely much action that I thought it's nice again, because I thought, wow, this movie is like. It's like Thalapathy is kicking my ass. It's like or Partiban. It's like where I thought, what is happening here? It's almost at that point where I thought, they just don't stop, and it's on the brink of it. So I give this a pass because it's like so over the top. But it was still exhausting.
Especially towards the very end. It's like we realized that these characters, these mass heroes, they are larger than life. They are like superhumans, they are like superheroes or villains, and they can take whatever someone throws at them, and they will survive it. But this is pushing it so far towards the end, with Partiban falling to the ground, gets like beaten up all the time, and nothing is really happening to him, that I felt like I was watching something like Looney Tunes at the end. It was like, let's get through this, because no punch has any consequences. It's like,
that's true.
Let's get through it, because the choreography is decent, even pretty decent. But if I like punch you for 10 minutes straight in the face and there are no consequences, it's not tense. It's it goes like poof, the power, the impact vanishes, because you think, okay, I've seen it now, I know that nothing really happens. So exactly. So that was a problem, but
I think it's also a problem that at least for me, that I didn't like wasn't that invested
Yeah.
in this character and his
Yeah.
arc,
Yeah.
because I mean, we don't have to go into real spoilers.
No, I don't think we have to.
Yeah, we don't have to, but I think there's a major problem with his character, and that's a major thing that often happens in these mass movies, that like people probably, I don't know, love characters who are these badasses, but they do some really questionable stuff in their in this arc, and he does that also. And again, we're talking about like violence not being dissected and in what is it doing to people. And so I wasn't really invested in Partiban. I thought, now kick those asses. So I thought,
me neither. And again, emotionally, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
His son, the character, the casting is great. I think I've seen him before, not sure where, but he does a good job as the son. But there's almost nothing there. At the very beginning of the movie, Partiban tells a story about a serial killer, and they try to make it like this little morality tale.
What would you do in a situation?
Like, what would you do? But there's no real payoff. There's a little bit there between father and son, but not enough. And the stuff with his wife almost feels quite bad after the movie has ended.
Exactly, that's what I mean,
questionable. And
I mean, the family stuff itself kind of works because the actors are like, the chemistry is there between Trisha, Thalapathy Vijay, and the two younger actors, son and daughter. But there's nothing like to hold this together character-wise, where you think, okay, I'm in this emotionally. So I'm really only in this for the action in the end.
This brings me back to the beginning. The movie ends in a similar way, like a history of violence, with the family sitting back together at home. But these two movies couldn't be more different. Which is cool, but also kind of weird. I don't know how else to put it. So anything else? Or should we conclude?
No, I don't. I think nothing. Nothing else.
Buddymeister, what would you say in German about Leo?
Okay, Leo ist ein ordentlicher Actionfilm, der genau das, nämlich die Action, mit genug Pep rüberbringt. Gepaart mit dem außergewöhnlichen Setting und einem gut aufgelegten Thalapathy Vijay reicht das aber leider nicht, um die faden Wegwerf-Nebenfiguren, die Länge und die erschöpfend monotone Struktur auszugleichen.
Nice. Wenn der Film seine Muskeln spielen lässt, kann er verdammt intensiv, stylisch und sogar mitreißend sein. Die Action ist brutal und wer auf sowas steht, kann echt gut unterhalten werden. Das dramaturgische Gerüst ist aber wieder mal echt wacklig und um ehrlich zu sein, bricht dann in der zweiten Hälfte zunehmend weg. Dennoch eine unterhaltsame, durchgeknallte Kinoerfahrung.
Maybe the longest German part
ever. Yeah, it's
ever.
pretty long, yeah. So, I think I give Leo 6 out of 10. It's more like 6.3, but I don't do that.
For me, it's also 6 out of 10. It's more like 6.4, but I don't do that either.
Nice.
So, Jimmy, best trivia ever, I swear. Did you know that being impressed by Tom Cruise's beach house, Thalapathy Vijay got a picture of it and apparently had his house in Chennai built exactly like it?
Nice.
Yes, but I've looked at picture of both houses and they don't really look alike.
You don't see it.
So okay. Trivia, I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the structurally there are some similarities, but I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was more a news thing.
One last thing, if you have never seen a LCU movie, Lokesh Cinematic Universe, not important. This is pretty much a standalone movie. Yeah, please let us know in the comments below what you think about Leo. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and also on Patreon, simply at The Jimmy Cage.
And you can hit me up on Twitter at The Buddymeister.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like.
And make sure you hit that bell for all we have to tell.